Midway USA has an extensive selection of bullets, providing top-notch performance and accuracy for the cartridge you plan on reloading. If you plan to hunt, shoot competitively, plink at the range, or even load up some self-defense rounds, Midway USA has the popular brands, calibers, diameters, and grain weights of bullets you are searching for. First-time reloaders, bulk bullet buyers, and seasoned specialty shooters begin their search for bullets at Midway USA. For just about everything for reloading, shop MidwayUSA.com. Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com.
Just be sitting up there jacking Pepsi.
I'm there for the pack out. You just got to pack me in.
Committed to the bow early on. Like, I love getting close and putting a...
You cover a range of stuff on here too, right? Like,
we call this the THP World Headquarters.
You know, my grandpa Roy Weatherby,
I came into like that golden little pocket where there was like 4 or 5 different bowls. Just
You're Canadian? We're doing a Canadian podcast?
My name's Douglas Bode.
I'm Robbie Denning.
Roy Candy.
It also just gonna start. I'll just start recording anyway. So, how you doing, buddy?
Really good. Yeah, really good. Where are you guys located?
BC. I'm in BC. Pete's in BC.
Yeah.
Derek's in Alberta.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're all across the west here. We're covering a lot of country between the.
Where are you right now?
I'm down in Vancouver.
Oh, right.
I'm yeah, with my son playing hockey. So it's spring hockey time, and it's just kind of flat out with that time of year.
Is it like the provincials and stuff like that?
Yeah, the provincials are all over. So now it's just spring hockey.
Like they got ID camps and everything going. It's totally changed since we were kids, Kevin. Like my coworkers are heading down for certain ID camps. The junior B team's got a camp in town here right now. Like instead of waiting till September or August for that, it's like, no, they just keep going. It's like you don't stop.
There is no foot off the throttle in hockey anymore. Gone are the days off where people actually golf in the summer.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, I guess. Well, how your Leafs? I haven't been watching a whole lot. Your Leafs winning? No.
The Leafs are they're down 2-1 at the moment.
Yeah, and I did our hockey pool, and normally I don't think with my heart when it comes to a hockey pool, and I actually picked them in 6, and I just like that was dumb.
What about the I know the Oilers one. I was just because I just seen them on the highlights there. They killed last night.
They're up right now. They're looking pretty unreal right now.
It'd be nice for that cup to come back to Canada.
Well, Vancouver's winning too. Vancouver's doing good.
Yeah, they other than Toronto. Boston's a tough one to get by for those guys.
Yeah, for sure. So, Greg, you were on. Well, hold on a sec. I'm gonna lose my cape here.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I was. We were just razzing him on it.
I was in the cold plunge. It takes a little bit to warm up after.
I bet.
What was I talking about already? Like
you said you were on.
I need your brain pills, Pete.
Well, I know. I can tell.
Yeah. Anyway, I forgot what we were talking about already. Not enough coffee. First coffee today. Oh yeah. So Greg, you were on. I think 3 years ago. I had you on.
Is it that long now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe over 3 years ago. I started this podcast at the end of 2019, and I had you on. Like, I convinced you to come on in the early on. Yeah. Early on. So what's new in the last 3.5 years?
Wow. That's I think if you can't reflect back on 3.5 years and go, something's changed, then I think there's something wrong. Wow. I mean, heck, 3.5 years. There's a lot of family stuff, really. A lot of family stuff going on in my world, which is awesome. And you guys have kids?
Oh yeah, three.
So you know all about it, right?
Mine
What's the age of your gang?
I got a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old.
Okay, so in your situation, you're the same as me, other than you've got one more, which just adds another element of insanity in the house, I'm sure.
It's busy. You try to balance it all with work, life, training, and yeah, it's a challenge, man. It's a skill you got to develop. It's something that I constantly work on, and I'm pretty hard on myself too. It's just like, you just try to do better every day, and it's tough.
I think that's at the end of the day, at the end of that day, that's kind of all we can look back on and go, hey, did we do better today than yesterday? And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And hopefully there's a lot more W's in the column than not, right?
Yeah, man, absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about training, fitness, all that stuff that you're kind of well known for. So how old are you now, Greg?
51.
51.
Hold on. 51 or 52.
Yeah. Pete, you got any more of those brain pills? I think we all know. Just bugging you.
That still doesn't help me out. People ask me, and I literally pause for a second.
So you're about the same. You're about the same age as Pete, right?
No. You're closer than I am, bud.
How old are you, Pete?
I just turned 45.
Oh, I'm 45.
You've been sitting there for a while, though. And it's showing.
It's
showing because I got to talk to you once a week. That's why. So one thing that, I look at Derek down here. Well, he's on my screen. He's on the bottom left, and he's not even 40 yet. So he probably doesn't have a sore bone in his body. He probably wakes up right out of bed 5 minutes before he's got to go to work and just puts his pants on and heads out the door. Hey, buddy?
Yeah.
1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah. Try to train like I'm 20, and I'm starting to find out that I'm not. Yeah, I've noticed that going hard, getting up to PR levels on lifts and stuff, you really got to be cautious now. Really have to warm up, and just muscle soreness and tension is really the thing that's the limiting factor now in my life. Do a big lift, and the recovery, if you're not keeping up on improper posture and just the way your form is with your lifts, you can really do a lot of damage. I'm actually finding that right now with a sore bicep issues and stuff, shooting bow every day. And yeah, it's hard to manage. That's for sure.
So what does your training look like now, Greg, now that you're, 51 years old? I mean, you're still in great shape. I know I catch up on you all the time, and you're still killing it. So
I think that, I've been just doing what I do for so long, and kind of to where everyone else, everyone else is sitting here is, the one thing we don't have more of is time. And it, as it goes on, you have to do things differently. Mm-hmm. So, I've been heavy in the endurance side of life, as far as my fitness goes, for the majority of my adult life, really. And certainly in the competitive side of things. But the last little while is what I've realized is that the importance of, as I age, the importance of putting on and holding as much muscle mass as you can. Now those two things don't generally go together super well. And so I've really cut back as of late, I say in the last couple of years, kind of more pulled back on the heavy endurance side of life to try to build more muscle mass and just kind of maintain a certain comfortable level. And it's it's working. My cardio is not near as good as it was and as it needs to be in the future. But really, it's just every day doing something, and there's, and try to make it fun and try to make it interesting with the family when you can. Keeps the motivation up. And at the end of the day, you only have one body, you only have one life, and if you want to get the best out of both of them, you have to treat them right and keep them moving, right? So that's really just my philosophy on how I look at where I want to be when I'm, when I'm 90 years old. Do I want to be able to, do a 5K walk and hold my wife's hand? And, as we do this, that's the plan. It's the goal, it's the plan. And how do you maintain longevity throughout your whole life? And that's the only way I look at it now, and still reaching the goals that you want to achieve. There's certain goals that I have that aren't going to be conducive to holding a whole lot of body mass in the near future. So I have to make some changes. And that's just, I've been doing that my whole life, figuring, preparing for an event or preparing for something. So it's kind of comes pretty naturally, which is fortunate for me at this point.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's when you have kids and have family and have obligations, it's really hard. But like you said, it's important just to do that, to be consistent, because consistency compounds. It's just winning the little battles every day, a little bit here, a little bit there. I mean, there's been many days where I haven't been able to train like I want, or you set a goal, you set a schedule for the week, and then life gets lifey, and then Thursday comes around and a curveball gets thrown your way. But if you can still fit in 20-30 minutes at the end of the day for a quick workout, it just helps you physically, mentally get ready for the next day, I found anyway.
I think that as much as anything, and that, like, most people know that have been doing it for a while, they know that the mental game and the mental side of staying motivated and staying on top of it is one of the hardest things. And then, when you get into it and you're in good shape, and then life gets in the way and you drop a few days, and really you haven't lost anything physically, but you can lose things in the mental side, which then compounds. And then now all of a sudden you've dropped to your day 3, and then your day 4, maybe you do a little bit, but it's not the same. And then it's just this downward spiral that you have to stay on top of. And the more people you have around you that are like-minded, motivated, or, supportive, the far easier it is. And yeah, I think that it's really knowing who you are and being able to stick with things that work for you, and just keep focused. It's hard. It is really hard. It's hard for everybody.
Oh, it is. It's funny you mentioned that. It's funny. I've noticed as I get older, the people who, like, the friends I've had for lifetime friends and stuff, as they're, you just kind of like, you come to a fork in the road where you have goals and you have these, you still want to train, you want to get your family involved in that. And these other friends, they just don't share the same, they're not thinking about what it's going to be like when they're 70 years old. They're not thinking about going for a 5-mile walk, holding their wife's hand when they're 90. They just don't have any long-term goals, It's just funny how you just kind of separate from those people. I've got friends and stuff that I've known for my whole life. I used to talk to every day. In the last 4 or 5 years, it just seems like we've just, grown apart. We just have different goals, different values as we get older. It's kind of funny.
Well, I think you have to, we're all people who are evolving. And if you're not evolving and you're not trying to get better, and you don't have that vision of where it is that you want to go. And I starts as easy as that for me, as simple as, I want to be able to walk around, do a 5K walk with my wife at 90 years old. That's simple. But now it's the steps between here and there that you have to take every day. There's this interesting philosophy or exercise that if you looked at yourself So Kevin or fellas, if you think about the age at which you're going to die, just think about what age that probably is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Fire away. What is it?
94.
Realistically, it could be anywhere from 88 to 92, 93.
I'm thinking 88 in my head, but if I keep this show up any longer, as I'm friends with Pete, it just kind of goes down like this. So it's probably right now it's probably like 80.
Hey, yeah. It's all okay. Good. I'll just keep your drive going, so you just want to be as good as me, and it'll keep you going that little bit longer because I know you'll never
surviving, Pete.
Pete's got 6 years.
He won't. Yeah, Kevin won't let you.
He doesn't want me to live
longer. Yeah,
I'm not dying.
Guys will just keep living forever.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the question: that is, if you were going to die at that age, what would you want your life to look like 1 year before that?
Being able to move.
Yeah.
That's like realistically, that's what I think it looks like. My grandfather lived to his 90s, and that's the biggest thing is mobility, quality of life, being able to move. As soon as you lose your ability to move around freely, you're done. That's life.
I don't give a shit what I'm like. I just want to be doing it better than Pete. That's all I care about.
The walker, just a little faster than
you. Yeah.
I'll just have a little motor attached to mine, a little self-driving one.
He'll still be fucking with mine. He'll probably be putting Loctite in the wheels and fucking.
No competition there, right?
No.
In all seriousness, yeah, you want to when I look at my dad, and he's 74 now, and he's still really good. He's active, but he was really active in his 30s and his 40s. He was a long distance runner, and I think that really helped. And I look at like my stepdad, who's roughly the same age, and like they're just not comparison. But physical fitness was never part of his life. You know, he was a businessman. He sat behind a desk a lot of the time, and you can just tell, like, for the longest, forever, physically, mentally, they were, on an even plane, and now you can just tell the difference, and I think a lot of that attributes to just the lifestyle that, they were both, they both were heavy drinkers and stuff, just being, that was kind of the era, not knowing any different, but, just, I think that long distance running and the activities that my dad did when he was younger have just, you can see the dividends that they're paying off now.
Well, I think too, people have to start realizing like the physical aspect, the mental part too. I find a lot of people are so focused on 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and they're not focused on right now. Because I'm not guaranteed 5 years from now. I'm not guaranteed 10 years from now. We can just do the best we can do with what we have now. But I think you got to live your life like each day. That could be your last day. So at the end of the day, be happy with your day. Surround yourself. I find I surround myself with people who are just generally happy. They make me laugh, make me smile. They drive me to want to exercise and, just be a better me, more or less. But, that all coincides with how I'm going to be in, hopefully 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. But I think you got to live your life like it's your last all the time. I've had a few unfortunate, family, friends, they've actually died from cancer and stuff younger than I am now. And it's a wake-up call. Be like, do everything you can so that you're that much better and prep tomorrow. And,
Yeah, and it's small decisions, right? Like I remember in my mid-20s, like getting in extreme physical shape. You got to make those decisions. Like if you like exactly like you're saying, if who are you in 5 years? Well, I always used to think, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that big deadlift session, but I want to look like this. I want to be at this physical level. I want to be this way. And so I gotta be that guy today. I gotta make those decisions every day. Every day you go through it, and then before you know it, you got your health in order. You got your lifts, your endurance, any of your goals, and that's like exactly what Greg's talking about, like setting these goals, long-term goals, but those short-term goals are like really helpful. Like my kid and I were doing 60 days. him and I were working out. Like he went to the gym at like 5:30 in the morning the other day. Pretty good
That's
discipline
good.
for a 16-year-old, and just setting those goals. Okay, 60 days, we're gonna have improvement. And so we're both committed. We're gonna go to the gym together, 60 days. Just those
Nice.
little goals, long-term goals, just making those decisions that coincide with, if you make a small change now today, like Greg's saying, in 20, 30 years, you're gonna be a lot better off.
I think that's awesome if you can have a family member or a friend that you're holding each other accountable for whatever goals you
Yeah.
guys decided to do. I think
Yeah.
that makes life a lot easier. Well, not easy, but easier, because they're dragging your ass out of bed or whatever, out of the house when you don't want to, and vice versa.
Yeah, and you're
Well, I
spending
think
time.
I think it's important to instill this in our children now. I mean, like, if you look at, I'm trying.
Society's
I
getting
know
soft.
exactly what you're talking about.
Society's
Like,
getting
I
soft.
think we all know exactly what
Yeah.
where you're going here.
Yeah, without saying it, yeah. I mean,
there is no other way.
Society is full
they
of
could toughen
bunch
up
of
a little bit.
soft pansy men. That's what
Yeah.
society is full of, and it's sad. It's saddening, and I'm sure that that's kind of where you're
Oh,
going.
yeah.
And if you can create these, you can create men within your family. Society will be way better for it in the future, and that's our jobs. Those of us who are kind of sitting here with our boys, and I think it's incumbent on us to make sure that we do not add to the woke mentality and add to the degradation of what is happening, and certainly in North America right now.
Yeah, I don't know when it came around to where it was like frowned upon to be a man. Like, it's just, for some reason in the last 5 years, it's just like, when did this start? Like, all of a sudden, being a man, taking care of shit, taking care of your family, taking care of business, it was all of a sudden like, that's not cool, or that's frowned upon, or it's like you shouldn't raise your kids that way. It's like, well, what happens when the lights go out? Who are you going to be turning to, right?
Yeah.
Like, something happens.
Oh yeah.
I like to say, when the wolves come knocking at the door, who opens the door?
Yeah.
Exactly. Is it mom? And if it is mom, there's a real problem in your household.
Yeah. Yeah.
If mom isn't being sitting in the back with the kids, protecting the kids, the last line of defense against the children, and the first line of defense is you. So if that's not the way your house is run, then you need a reality check. You need to really think about where your situation is as a man. And that people don't like to hear that now. And I don't care, because it's just the truth. And that's the problem with society today, is in a lot of ways, is that people don't like to hear the truth because it makes somebody feel bad. But that's the way of the world. Somebody is going to feel bad about something, and I don't care, and we shouldn't care.
Yeah. Life doesn't care. It's not like,
nobody cares whether Kevin or Greg or Pete or any of us are. Nobody cares about how you are on your day-to-day life. Nobody really cares. It's only until somebody's feelings get hurt and they have the ability to speak out, or feel that they have the ability to speak out and articulate why they've been wronged. But like, real dudes are just head down, moving forward, trying to take care of their own business. And that's the problem, is these other groups are trying to take care of everyone else's business and not their own.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And everybody looks at the results. They don't look at the day-to-day grind. They criticize where you end up. They criticize your results. They criticize your success. They don't look at the failures, the hardship, the suffering, the day-to-day issues. They just see that success. Oh, wouldn't be nice. That's nice that you have that privilege to work out or do whatever you want. It's like, well, no, you prioritize it.
I love that. it must be nice to work out or just own your own business and have the ability to work out all that time.
Yeah. And with your kids, it's awesome because it shows, like, even with academics, physical fitness, your health, there is no shortcut. If you don't work your ass off, it's not a priority. You're not going to achieve your goals. That's all there is.
I think of that, and like I think of like those adventure racings that you used to do, Greg, and like you're running or you're moving like thousands of kilometers, and it's like you can't cheat that. If you didn't do the work, like if you didn't have if you didn't have all your preparation up to leading to the race, you're fucked. Like that's the thing about even like running a marathon. Like you can post all this shit and say you're going to do all this shit and then say that you're doing it all, but once it comes time to actually do the work,
showtime.
Yeah, once it's go time, you can tell. Do you know what I mean? Like it ain't gonna lie. The mountains are gonna chew you up. They're gonna eat you. They'll eat you up and spit you out.
Actions speak louder than words every time.
Yeah, and that's why it's very interesting in the whole social media world right now. You can have all these people posting whatever they like and coming across as as these amazing people, but at the end of the day, like you said, actions speak louder than words, and put your times up there. Let's see what you've really accomplished. And I mean, that's the way this world is right now. But guys that know, and that's the cool thing. That's why I built this the television show and the hunting show that I did, is I built it with the hope that guides would get it. Not necessarily somebody sitting in a tree stand in Pennsylvania. It's, will a guide in Alaska, the Yukon, BC, will they get it? And that's that was my fundamental foundation for it. And I think that it's I hope it works.
Yeah, well, I think it is. So how do you deal with injury recovery and all that stuff? That's one thing I notice. I definitely notice as I get older, just, injury recovery, just your body wants to recover a lot slower than it does when you're Derek's age.
Yeah, it definitely does. Really, it's modification of certain exercises. Derek, you're taking a beating here.
It's about time.
It's okay.
Or maybe I'm the one taking the beating here because I'm getting asked the old man question.
No, man, we embrace that.
It's I don't stop. You have to continuously, like, I don't lift like I'm not trying to lift like heavy weights, because that was never my thing. So like I was never a bodybuilder style person. So I was it was more about, for me, function. It was all about function. Like when I was racing, I was there was times when I was 159 pounds and I'm 190 now.
Wow.
So it was all about function, and lean and strong is where I needed to be. So that's where I was. But as far as, longevity and the recovery stuff, I don't do as many long, hard sessions as I would. So I've cut that time back, and it's more of a, I would say it's more of a, I don't want to say it's a maintenance type situation, but like I said, as I get older, I try to keep more muscle, which has changed my training. The endurance stuff, the age really does start to pile on when you're just pounding out the joints all the time. So I had to cut back from that because, just wake up in the morning and, it's tough to get out of bed, and once you shake the cobwebs off, it comes back not as quickly as it used to, obviously. But the recovery thing is, I don't lift super heavy. I do more reps than I'm not trying to gain a whole pile of muscle mass. I'm not trying to be 210. But I don't lift as heavy for sure, so that I try not to, mess the joints. And, I've had shoulder injuries and stuff that is fairly typical when you start lifting weights or when you're a weight lifter, I think. And it just takes more time. You have to find other ways to hit those muscles that doesn't aggravate that injury, but you can't stop. Like, you have to do it every day, because it's the mind thing as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I find is I need to, as I get older, I need to evolve. My training needs to evolve, where I'm not just doing such strict movements, where I'm incorporating more recovery movements and stuff like that. So I have been in the last I'd say year, I have been working on that slowly. I don't know if it's just part of me that I don't like to admit that I'm getting old, but man, yeah, it's definitely an improvement I need to constantly work on. Building, and like you said, I think it'd be better building a long-term plan. If you're building like a leg routine, build a 6-month plan where it's incorporating strength, recovery, all that stuff into like a 6-month program for weight training. I find though, like once it gets close to hunting season though, I get such tunnel vision. It's just like my mind goes in one direction, and then it's like I still want to train them when I can, but it's like if I go for a hunt for 5 days, I come back, take a day off, and then I'll go so hard for like 3 days while I'm back. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, my shoulder, I shouldn't have did that. I should have warmed up a little bit more. Like, fuck, like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
So it's definitely a work in progress. How is it with like what are your typical hunts like when you're going out to kill Dall sheep? How many days are you heading out in the backcountry?
Yeah, it's difficult I can't say it's, sometimes they're faster trips than others, but I probably wouldn't ever pack a bag that is less than 7 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, 7-day hunt would be my minimum packed for, and if it gets done faster than that, great.
Yeah. And how many? But you're doing, that's just not like one 7-day hunt in a season. Like how many? You know what I mean? You're doing multiple,
yeah,
and you're also, yeah, and you're filming, right? Which is extra. I mean, extra days.
Yes,
You got
so
B-roll and all that stuff, and
so typically I'll be running probably 7 to 8 hunts from August to kind of mid October. So 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And they're not all those hard style backpack hunts either, right? I try to do at least 2 sheep hunts, and then a couple goat hunts typically. And then, you start into moose season, and it just differs, right?
Yeah.
Those backpack hunts are what I love to do the most, but moose hunting it's a different beast, right? You just have to have so much more equipment and distances, and those animals are just so much bigger that you have to have, it's where the aviation comes in. And no, I mean, I'm flying all the time, so I'm always constantly looking for new areas, and that's, it's kind of to your point of the lead up to hunting season is really challenging for me. Even when I was racing professionally, it was like August 1st was, if there's a world championship race or if there's a World Series race in August 1st, well, you better find another teammate, because I'm not going to be there, because it's sheep season. So that's kind of always been my MO. And yeah, I love those longer hunts, and 7 days is what I would pack for sure, and up to 12, 14 days if it's really, really remote and I don't really know the country well.
Yeah. It's hard to, like, as with kids, because like you're not just leaving, it's not like when you're younger where you could just get up and go and leave. Now you're leaving kids, you're leaving a wife, you're leaving a house, a family behind. And like, there's a lot of work you have to do to make sure they're good while you're gone for those 7 to 10 days. Like it's a, it's a lot more involved when you have a family.
Yeah, it totally is. I have a number of businesses, and when I was kind of transitioned myself, when I started the TV show, I transitioned myself kind of out of the business where I wasn't needed. I was like hands-on, like pumping shit tanks and, doing all the dirty work. And then I eventually was able to pull away. And when I did, and my wife realized that this is what's going on. And then I usually kind of had this 4 to 5 year window where I was engaged in something full on, and then really felt like started to get bored. And once I got bored, my wife knows, okay, something else is coming here. And and Denise she's without a doubt, she's a rock. And but it was hard times. It was hard for the whole family to make that transition. 2 young kids, and Greg all of a sudden deciding that this is what he needs to do, is to create a television show so that hopefully people really understand what it's like to hunt in the Yukon. And I spent a lot of time away, especially like those early years when I didn't know how to film. I didn't know what a crew should be doing. And there's a lot of mistakes and a lot of extra days spent in the mountains, because to capture what you need to capture and to do the job the best that we could do. And I spent a lot of time away from home. Now I'm certainly a more streamlined, and the team is dialed in. We know what we're doing. I do a lot of flying. Like I don't go to areas that I'm just not knowing if there's game there. Like that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And why would it happen? It's the evolution. Like I have airplanes for a reason. And they're not they're not there to look good. They're a functioning tool. So I'm much more streamlined than I ever used to be. So I don't spend as much time, I would say, in the mountains as I certainly did in the early years, which gives me more time with the kids. And, when I always thought as a dad, when I'm not much use for the first 3 years of my kid's life. And, maybe 3 is a little bit on the long side, but when they're babies, they certainly don't really need dad other than to give them a cuddle now and again, or to pick them up off the ground.
Yeah, give mom a little bit of a break.
Yeah, it's mom needs the dad, right? So yeah, it's the things have certainly evolved where I get to spend so much time with my kids and my family. Even during hunting season, it's gotten a lot better that way. And the kids are so active in sports, and they're doing their own thing now. And at 9 and 11, they're quite independent. And when I can incorporate them into the outdoors with me, I absolutely do. And that's one of the most rewarding things that I've done, which I didn't expect that it would evolve to that. Like I don't really need to kill anything anymore. Like it's not that big of a deal to me. But loving to get in the mountains with the family. And actually I watched, my son killed the biggest goat that I've ever been in on last year at 10 years old in BC. So it was the highlight of my hunting career. That was that. And then the whole family, all 4 of us, went out on a sheep hunt with our daughter. She was 8, and 10-year-old son. And I ended up killing a nice ram, and it was a great experience for the whole family. So that's kind of that's what's driving me now. It's so much fun, but I do get bored, and I have to, there's sometimes I have to look for challenges, and I'm at a transition stage in my life where I'm looking for challenges again, because my family is starting to get to old enough that they can they're more independent, and they have a lot going on too.
Yeah, it's nice when you can incorporate kids and your family in with the stuff that you're doing, and like especially with fitness and like as my kids now, every Sunday we go down to the track and we run the track, or I'm taking all of them out in the backcountry, and like I remember there was a time where it's funny. So we were out last weekend. It's turkey season, so we took Wyatt out turkey hunting. Wyatt's 12. So there's me, my dad, who's in the 75 or something like that, and my son. And Wyatt's into running now. He runs probably 3-4 times a week.
Nice.
I remember not that long ago where I would be carrying Wyatt, picking him up, helping him over logs, over rocks. Now I turn around and he's on my heels. He's stepping on my heels all the time. It's my dad now who we're waiting for and who's slowing us down. And it's funny. It's like, I look at that and I look at where there was a time where Wyatt was slowing me down and I had to wait for him, pick him up, help him out. Now it's my dad. And there was a time when I was slowing him down where I would have been stepping on his, or he would have been having to pick me up or help me over the log. And now I'm doing it for him. If it wasn't it used to be my son, now it's my dad. But
yeah.
I look at Wyatt, he's on my heels. There's going to be a time where he's like looking behind him being like, hey, old man, let's go. Let's hurry up. He's the one who's going to be helping me over those boulders and logs and stuff like that. So
sooner than later at his rate, he's like, I don't get to watch him all the time. Like every couple months or like every year, Kevin comes down to an archery shoot. I get to see him in that. But even seeing the difference from what's it been 6-7 months, I guess, from the archery shoot till Derek and I were in Kelowna there the other week, and just watching them since then, it's crazy the amount of growth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids, they grow so fast and they develop and they learn so fast. And if they're into an activity, like, it's mind blowing how much ground they can cover,
how skillful they can become in a short amount of time. And that age group that your son is in right now is the most significant change in a boy's life. Like I see my son at 11, and what he's 2 years older, the boys that are in playing hockey, and it's like, wow, like that amount is going to grow in that period of time. So it's crazy. And then once those young lads start to fill into their body, and they will be helping us over up the mountain sooner than we want.
I always timed. It's funny too. It's like every time we meet up in the kitchen, he'll like go to give me like a little box or something. I'm like, buddy, I can just grab, like, you're not even close. Like,
I'm gonna have a talk with them. I'm gonna be like, all you need to do in front of mom and everything is when he's gonna go boxy, but instead of there, just drop a cane or a walker in front of you and walk away. That's like a funny mic drop right there.
Yeah. Isn't that fantastic though? Like the evolution of, like, we were all there. We were that kid sitting in the, come on, Dad, like, what do you got? Like, just testing, right? Yeah. And that's that's exactly what you want. You want that kid that's going to push you and test you, because that they're going to get into the real world and they're going to be ready for it. Yeah. And that's exciting. When my son's not quite there yet. Well, I shouldn't say that, but maybe it's my personality is he knows that he's going to have to come with the A game, because I'm not going to let him off. But he's not quite there yet. But I know that time is coming soon. But on your heels is like, he's already, my lad is already there. We go for runs together, and as soon as you hit any kind of decline, like, he's on my butt the whole time, but any kind of decline and in the mountain, and he's just blows by me.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So it's coming faster than I would like, but at least at the same time, as we're all going to embrace it, and just, you love watching every second of it, because I think if you're a dad or a parent and you don't want your kids to be better than you, I think that there's something psychologically wrong with you.
Oh yeah.
And like there's dudes out there that are crazy competitive, and which, I mean, obviously, well, you are against Pete anyways. And
finishing second affects somebody mentally all the time too.
Yeah. But I mean, there's guys that are crazy competitive and don't, and take that to a degree against their own families, which I think is insane. But we, like, for me, it's just like, you want to see those kids be better than you, and that's a then I think that's validation that you've done your job.
Yeah, and it helps you too. It helps you too, because you don't want to give it up, and like,
no,
one day you're gonna get it, but I ain't gonna give it to you easily, son. Like,
exactly.
you're gonna have to earn every inch of that one.
Yeah, exactly.
I've had a few chats with my kids and on the exact same thing there, and talking to them about how I want them to be. They get mad at you for something, or that big. No, I'm trying to push you so that you're better than me. I want you to be better than me, because I know where I am in life right now. And if you're better than me and you succeed and you win on me on every platform, it makes me excited to see where you're going to be when you're my age or even younger. Yeah. Like, I want to see where you can push these limits to. Like,
hey, Derek, I got a question for you with a 16-year-old lad that's obviously in decent shape, and you guys are working out together. How is that at 16?
It's tough because he's getting faster and stronger. That's the main thing I noticed. Like, it's hard to keep up. Like, he's almost as tall as me. I think he's like 6'2", 6'3" now.
Oh,
and shit. He's strong and he's fast. And same thing with like my 13-year-old. Like, he's built like a Viking. He's big. He weighs as much as my 16-year-old, and he's tall and he's strong and he can lift. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, every year it's just getting closer. And I'm just gonna accept them. Like, I'm not gonna be able to
going
keep
like
up
this, and then later. we're going like this. We don't want to. We're just
hanging on for dear life. And they're
Yeah.
very competitive. They both did competitive judo, and now we're getting into basketball, and they're lifting weights every day. Like, they went to the gym twice yesterday. Like,
nice.
Won't be long until they've caught up and surpassed me. But no, it energizes me too. So, shit, man. I got to keep up with you guys. I got to get out there running. I got to start making my lifts and be what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be the strongest. I have to hold on to that old man strength for as long as possible with them.
That's one thing too, is like holding on to that, because like we were talking before, Greg, you're saying when the Wolves come to knocking on the door, it's like you're always the one who takes care of stuff. You're always the strongest in your household. You're always king, right? And then once your kids come up and they start challenging you and beating you you're like, holy, like, no, I'm gonna have to get up here. I'm gonna have to get up a little bit earlier. I'm gonna have to do this, like, just because so you maintain, keep the title.
That's funny. It's that I have to get up earlier. It's literally so true. I had to start getting up I used to get up at 4:30 in the morning every day, and then I would get my workout in, and everything was good. My son started getting up, setting his own alarm, and started getting up at 5 a.m. So now by the time I like at 4:30, you shake the cobwebs out, and you have something to drink, and then you get down to the gym, and you let the dog out. It's 20 minutes later. Yeah. So now I had to get up a half an hour earlier. He forced me to get up at 4 a.m. And it's like, dude, you're killing me here. You make me get up at 4 o'clock just so that I can try to stay ahead.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's so true though, man. It's so true. Like, just to keep the title, you gotta do what you gotta do though, I guess.
But when we're all sitting here looking back, and you've built this team in your family, and now your guys' situation where when the Wolves come knocking at the door, you've got 3 men standing there, or 4, or what? Like, now it's now you've got a team. You've got a team of monsters that are not going to get pushed around, and that's our job, right?
Yeah,
we're all doing it, and it's our job, and it's fun as shit. But you still want to hold on to the cycle as long as you can.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt.
For me, I'm trying to train my elk pack out crew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man.
good.
That's the nice thing about having a crew is, yeah, it definitely helps with packing out the meat and all that stuff. But it's fun, man. It's fun getting the kids out. And my son's been hunting now. My oldest son's been hunting now for this. Last year was his second year, and pretty good. I mean, a few deer and a bear and stuff like that. But man, is it fun? It's just like I get such a rush taking him out, and like it's funny. Like when I'm hunting for myself, I don't get that. I don't get really nervous or excited or anxious. But when he's behind the trigger, he's the one who's going to be harvesting the animal. Man, I sure get like, I just get all those, those first time feelings you had when you were started hunting. It's funny.
Yeah, I think as a parent, when you're bringing your kids into it, and you're always thinking about, okay, what do I do? First off, like, what do I do to make this a good experience so that the kid buys in and wants to participate for forever. And when the kids are young, it's you're trying to navigate that. And I think that for me, it's worked out in that and maybe because I've been hunting for so long, it's just something natural. The kids want to do things with you. So and I think the younger that you can start them, the better off you're probably going to be. Because once they become, these teenagers that, that want to do, girls get, or boys or whatever it is, get interesting, then there's, that you might have missed the window kind of.
Yeah.
I guess I'll find out later, but both of my kids seem to be enjoying it, whether it's something that, hopefully it's something that they continue to do, but whether, they follow in my footsteps or whatever is insignificant. But being out there and having time with your family is pretty amazing place to do it. There's, you get, like, in the future, people are going to look back on hunters and hunting families, and they're going to look back and say, wow, that was, and until you do it, like, you have that alone time in a remote place or a quiet place with no phones, no interruptions, no bullshit, and where you actually do one-on-one conversations and you're exploring together. These are going to be the gems of time that people in the future won't even know that they're missing in the world that we live in now. Like, I've got buddies that are sitting in, he's got a 20-some-year-old kid that, just sits behind video games all day and works in that industry, and literally his body is falling apart in his 20s and next to no social life. And it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And those of us who are out in the mountains and out in the fields with the kids, it's going to be time that cannot be replaced.
Yeah. What I love about it is that, like, it teaches the kids, like, the backcountry and hunting, it teaches them that, life doesn't care. I mean, the backcountry doesn't care, how much money you have or how many followers you got on Facebook. It doesn't care any about that. The animals, it's not meant to be fair. The animals don't want to die. Like, you're only going to get out of it the amount of work you put into it. Yeah. And like, it's not like, there's no medal for second place. There's no participation badge. It is what it is. It's like, if you're not willing to do what it takes, I mean, if you're in the backcountry on these 7-day trips, you're going to die. That's the way it is. Like, if you're not doing the work, you're not going to be successful, and then you're going to come home empty-handed, right? And we've all done it, and that's what I love about it. It's not like you don't get a medal for showing up. That it's reality, and that's what life is like. It's hard. It's full of ups and downs, and that's what I love about it. So,
and being uncomfortable is good. Like,
oh yeah, man,
that's one thing that, like, as much as we talk about the teenagers, and I'm dealing with that, there's kind of their interests change. But I think if I can instill something where they come back in their 20s, that kind of phase of their life kind of changes. I've noticed that with some of my younger cousins that I've had, that they disappear for
6, 7, 8 years, and a couple of them they're like hardcore right back into hunting. And that's something that I hope I can instill in my kids, that okay, you're uncomfortable, good.
Yeah, well, that's where you breed growth, right? Is when you're uncomfortable, then you grow, right? Like it's
like, this is sucky. You know, as a father like Greg, exactly what you're talking about. Hopefully you're a good enough hunter that you can still push through and get that success, and then you get that big payoff, and you see, look at all the things we did. We seen animals, we passed them up, we had a hard hike, it's raining, the weather's crappy, and look, boom, that big success. And you show them that whole evolution. That's what life is. It's not easy. Shit doesn't go your way. Sometimes you're just damn lucky and you can reap the benefits of that. But if you want to do it every time we go out, that's not how it's going to be. And it's a good expectation of, you already know what you're going to expect to see out there.
Yeah. I think that you've hit it on the head there, Derek, is that and both, all you guys, it's like the wilderness doesn't care, nor does life. Like, it's all the same.
Yeah.
And the harder that you can, the more you're willing to work and put in the hard miles in day-to-day life, in the wilderness, it's all the same. You're going to receive what you put in. And that's the the factor that is cool about success, is that you're going to receive based on the amount of effort that you put in. And success is different to everybody, but I could go down that road. But yeah, I love it. And we're instilling all the same values, I think, in our kids. And I think that's something to do with the hunting culture, or, I link farming and hunting very close. I think I grew up on a farm, and with my grandparents, in a lot of ways, spent so much time on the farm, and just, you're outside and you're working hard. Mm-hmm. And, the farmer doesn't, you don't not put your crop in because the weather is bad. Right. Yeah. So there's so many similarities between hunting and farming that I really enjoy. And, you have that kind of mentality, and, working hard and pushing forward, and you're going to do well.
Yeah, for sure. No.
Now more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Well, Greg, I think we'll wrap it up. I know you got a lot to do. I really appreciate coming on the show again, buddy. It's been good to catch up.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Let's do it again in not another 3 or 4 years, however long it's been.
Well, you've been crushing it there, fellas. What is this, 180 something?
Yeah, I think
that's up there.
So that's no joke. That's
181. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good for you guys. And
same to you. Yeah, we love the show.
Hear a lot of good things about you guys, and people are enjoying it. So keep it up, and hopefully we'll connect up before, I don't know, another 150 go by.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, thanks. See you guys.
Yeah, good one. Good luck with hockey too.
Yeah. Good luck, Greg.
Yep.
Cheers.
Friends of NRA is your chance to support our Second Amendment rights and preserve America's hunting traditions. Join Friends of NRA at one of our 600 exciting events nationwide. From games to auctions and exclusive firearms, Friends of NRA events are your chance to support a cause you care about while having a great time with patriots in your community. Whether you're a seasoned shooter, an avid hunter or outdoorsman, or passionate about freedom, there's a place for you within Friends of NRA. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you. Stand up for freedom with the Friends of NRA.
A life that has the stories to back it. A life to be proud of. It's a Winchester life.
Yeah, baby. 6'8" Western. Oh, mule deer, baby, right there.
Tune in every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Waypoint TV.